The Fox Virginia News at 10 is next. Tonight, patients at UVA Hospital received a surprise visit from the UVA men's basketball team showing gratitude by giving back to the community. We have the highlights.
I used to walk around with a yarmulke. I can't do that now.
Serious allegations of anti-Semitism by a Jewish UVA student who says he has seen this behavior happen before the Israel-Hamas war. We have his story.
And not many words from President Joe Biden after winning the Democratic primary during Super Tuesday, but GOP winner Donald Trump had some things to share. We have the latest. It's 10 o'clock. Time for your Fox Virginia News.
Now, Fox Virginia News at 10.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Alexia Williams.
And I'm Ashley Brooks. We'll get back to those stories in just a moment. But first, here's Travis with the Fastcast.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
And good evening, friends. The rain has been intermittent for much of the day. No sunshine to speak of whatsoever. Cloudy skies. Rainfall totals to this point generally between 1/10 and a 1/4 inch area wide. And yes, there are some spots that have seen a little bit more. The rain for now intermittent, but you notice these occasional bursts of yellow and orange on radar, say around Madison, east western Louisa County, even northern Nelson County. Some steadier bursts of rain. These will continue to swing through during the course of the overnight. 53 in Charlottesville and Standardsville right now. Madison 51, 52 at the lake, and 50 in Waynesboro. So occasional showers continue tonight. Temperatures holding fairly steady. The showers should wind down by about 8 a.m. on Thursday. It'll be a slow progression of clearing in the afternoon. The sun cloud mix will take us through the second part of your Thursday. And your high temperature will be mild at 68 degrees. But I'm eyeing another system in the extended forecast that'll bring more rain to the area. I'll tell you when that happens and how much rain we'll get in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good, Travis. Thank you. Our top story tonight, after nearly sweeping Nikki Haley in the Republican primary on Super Tuesday, former President Donald Trump spoke at Mar-a-Lago to a crowd of supporters. But the current president hasn't said much after commanding victories in several states in the Democratic primary.
Local experts think it's because Biden is waiting to do so in front of Congress and the entire country. Our Fox Virginia's Garrett Witten is here with more. Hi, Garrett.
Ashley and Alexia. Dr. Larry Sabato with the UVA Center for Politics thinks Biden will treat tomorrow night's State of the Union address as his acceptance speech. But in order to deliver one and an effective speech, Sabato says Biden needs to do a list of things.
I have no regrets.
This is a big one.
Nikki Haley has suspended her campaign after nearly being swept by former President Donald Trump in the Republican primary on Super Tuesday.
With this primary season being as boring as it is, protest voting for us was kind of the highlight.
J. Miles Coleman with the UVA Center for Politics says Nikki Haley struggled to win because she didn't have the support of most registered Republicans. But Dr. Larry Sabato, director of the UVA Center for Politics, says moderates, independents, and non-Republicans helped her.
Her supporters are kind of a ragtag bunch. They're impressive people, but they're a ragtag bunch.
But where will these votes go now?
There are lots of pieces of this, and you can't just transfer her, 30% or 35% into one person's column.
Both Trump and Biden will have to work for them. Trump spoke to his supporters at Mar-a-Lago after winning on Super Tuesday.
He's the worst president in the history of our country. There's never been anything like what's happening to our country.
President Joe Biden, on the other hand, hasn't said much after winning his victories in the Democratic primary. Sabato believes that he's waiting to address the nation during Thursday's State of the Union. But he says Biden needs to do a list of things to be effective and potentially win over those who voted for Haley.
Look presidential, act presidential, and touch on the issues that people actually care about.
Senator Mark Warner thinks it's important for President Biden to address concerns about the economy and emphasize the need for continued support for Ukraine and democracy during its war with Russia.
If we don't, the winners will not only be Putin in Russia, but it'll be the leaders in Iran, it'll be Kim Jong-un in North Korea, it'll be President Xi in China, and they offer a very different vision for the world and not one that I think folks in the United States or frankly in democracies around the world would support.
Now for Biden, his speech will also be a chance to share his vision for what still needs to be done. He will address Congress at the United States Capitol on tomorrow on Thursday at 9 p.m. We also wanted to let you know that Governor Glenn Youngkin just about an hour ago endorsed former President Donald Trump. In the studio, Garrett Whitten, Fox Virginia News.
All right, Garrett, thank you for that report tonight. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says a Barboursville resident is facing charges for making threats against a person on school property. 18-year-old Dakota Dickerson of Barboursville was arrested this morning at Orange County High School. He's accused of making threats of death or bodily injury to persons on school property. Dickerson reportedly posted a video on Snapchat that was brought to the attention, of the school's SRO. It was allegedly showed that Dickerson exposed an AR-style rifle. The investigation found that the suspect had a BB or pellet gun matching the description of the weapon in the video. Dickerson is expected in court tomorrow morning.
Yesterday, we reported that the U.S. Department of Education is investigating threats against Jewish students at the University of Virginia.
Today, we're hearing from one of those students, a first year, who says he's been a victim of anti-Semitic acts. This student says these anti-Semitic acts started a week into school, just weeks before Hamas even attacked Israel. Our Fox Virginia's Gretchen Stinger has the story.
I used to walk around with a yarmulke. I can't do that now.
Matan Goldstein is a first-year student at UVA. The 18-year-old says his experience hasn't been like other students. Goldstein says he's a victim of hate speech and physical assault on grounds. He says it's at the hands of those who hate him for his belief system.
My parents are Israeli, and so I am a first-generation American.
Goldstein says when he opened his acceptance letter to UVA, this wasn't what he thought college would be.
I came here to study. I'm 18 years old. But at the same time, when my friends are being told that Hitler was right, and when I'm being pushed aside and being slapped, and then I'm later told that I'm a filthy Jew, what am I supposed to do?
UVA is one of the many college campuses across the nation under investigation by the Department of Education for alleged anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim, anti-Arab, and other forms of discrimination in the wake of the Israel-Hamas war. Goldstein says instead of studying, he's found himself fighting for an education.
My goal was not to be a politician. It was not to carry the cross for ancient or to carry the cross for anti-Semitic, for fighting against anti-Semitism.
He says the university isn't doing enough to help him protect himself.
I was told by the administration about how I haven't been reporting anything with the police. But that's not true. I have. After I was called a filthy Jew on November 17th, I called the police and I filed a police report.
Police and university police to get a hold of that report. At this time, they have not gotten back to us. Nursing shortages are hitting the nation hard, but UVA Health is working hard to make sure that they keep their healthcare workers happy. Over the past couple of years, UVA Health has worked on supporting their 2,300 full-time nurses through programs that are focused on lowering burnout rates, balancing patient and nursing ratio loads, and increasing compensation by nearly 3%. This past January, nurses at UVA Health now make a minimum of $38 an hour. The CEO of UVA Health, Wendy Horton, says that because of these factors, UVA Health is on a really low turnover rate.
As we're growing nurses, we're also being able to retain them, which is really, really important. And we're best in class around the nation. We have the lowest turnover by 10% in the nation. So that's really, really great news.
She goes on to say that UVA Health is working alongside nursing schools all across the state, thinking about innovative ways to grow and train the next generation of nurses.
Well, a big and tall surprise for patients at UVA Hospital today, a special visit from the UVA men's basketball team. The team spent time in the Children's Hospital and the Cancer Center. They handed out blankets and hats, did crafts, and signed plenty of autographs. The big hit was a small swishy basketball that some players even signed. Senior Reese Beekman says even the hospital staff is excited to see them, and it makes them realize how much influence they have in the community.
All my hard work is bigger than basketball. You know, all this, basketball is leading to other opportunities, is leading to happiness outside of myself.
The visit was through CAV Futures Foundation, which is part of the Name, Image, and Likeness, or NIL, collective for UVA athletes. They'll be working with other teams to do more community outreach.
Love to see them giving back to the community in such a great way, too. Well, with Donald Trump now the Republican primary winner, this sets him up for a rematch with current President Joe Biden.
We have the breakdown for the inevitable November showdown between the two, but that's after your local weather authority forecast with Travis.
Wet night for most all of central Virginia, but a couple dry days will follow before we get into more rain this coming weekend. Will it be a washout Saturday and Sunday? All of the answer. Plus, we'll talk about some other fun weather stuff in just a few moments.